Shalom Rastafari, Assalamu Alaikum, peace to the kings and the queens of the earth. How's everybody doing this Monday? It's also a holiday to specific areas, so happy holidays to everybody who's enjoying the holiday today. And also just a shout out to everybody getting through what you need to get through. Keep your head up. Only gets better from here. Today I wanted to be just good with it, man. You guys always know I'll continue to stay in my head in those books, and this is the second time I actually read this book, but this is the Miseducation of the Negro by Carter Goodwin Woodson. Again, this is the Miseducation of the Negro by Carter Goodwin Woodson. Now, this book was actually written in the 1930s, around 1933. So you're probably wondering, like, why am I going that far and reading that much literature? As far as being Black, African American, Pan-African, however you want to call it, we really need to continue to listen to our ancestors because of the situation of that our overall movement, our overall progress really hasn't done too much since even the 30s. And this is a good book to really confirm that point. So again, it's called The Miseducation of the Negro. And in the 1930s, the word Negro was pretty much like Black, right? It was used in that sense. It was used in that word. It wasn't just people of color. It was literally Negro identified everybody as Black. And so literally Carter Goodwin Woodson, he was articulate in this book. This is a book that I really recommend people to pick up, but understand or overstand that you're probably going to read it twice. It's not like it's crazy vocabulary, but it does make you think. It's going to bring some new vocabulary to you for sure. And literally it lays out the points of how the Black nation has been literally put into a position where it's also our fault that we are in our position. And it literally planes out what has been done to us and how we are not set up for failure, but how we were already from the beginning setting ourselves up for, a huge mountain to climb. And it's amazing how in the 1930s, he's saying stuff that is still prominent to this day. One of the main points is, if you listen to my platform, people probably think that the first thing I'm going to do is blame other nations or blame, Europeans or blame the slaves or blame, everything that's happened to us. And rightfully so. I could do that. I could do that all day. But to get real with it and to get technical with it, we have to start in the mirror and have to start with ourselves. And when we start with ourselves, we start to understand how deep this thing goes, right? We start to understand how mental, literally mental slavery put us in a situation where we really had to fight to get out of that mental, but we haven't been out of there yet. And some of the points that he brought up is that after segregation, right, and after integration started happening, where we were allowed to go to a specific grocery store that everybody else was going to, or we were allowed to let's say vote or just do specific things or open up specific businesses. The first thing that we did, instead of building our own and then supporting our own, the first thing we did mentally is that we went right to an area where, like, we went to the white dentist or the white doctor or the white grocery store, and we would bypass our own people's grocery store, doctor, lawyer, dentist, whatever, because we automatically thought that because, once we broke through this barrier, it must be better. So we automatically thought that the white was better. So we bypassed our own people and did not support them to then try to go to an area where they didn't really want us anyway. Just so they say we couldn't, so now we can, type of thing. Well, that was like literally the miseducation of the Negro. That's not how it should have been. It literally puts us on a realm of what our mental aspect, and as far as what our mental, not aspects, but what our mental whole capabilities and what our mental outlook is the word I was looking for. Our mental outlook should have been totally different once we started getting, a little bit of freedom that allowed us to be who we needed to be. We should have been more militant with it. We should have had a more uplifting and educational, knowing and supporting our own type of mentality rather than to, just be okay with what they gave us. That's the one thing that Mr. Woodson really cut in, is like we were satisfied with nothing. We were satisfied with what they were giving us, but we really had more. The Miseducation is completely a great book that I recommend a lot of people to read it, because it would let you know that we really haven't, as far as the Black nation, progressed how we were supposed to be. And with the right mentality, we could have been way further than we are even now. Now, some people are probably like, well, what's wrong? What's holding y'all back? And honestly, if we were more militant in our own situation, there shouldn't even be one, to me, broke Black person in the United States of America. I'll put it like that. There shouldn't be. Now, obviously, you can't just give everybody money, but there shouldn't be anything if we were to be on a more militant mindset. Be as far as knowing who we are from the beginning, knowing who the religious situation is, and knowing how we were set up. I mean, he had the stories of just, dentists or doctors who were just, the Black doctor was just happy to see somebody and give him a script. So when he heard someone come up the stairs, he just knew, oh, it's never $4. Like, he was just happy to be mediocre. You know what I'm saying? Happy to just not really have fully of everything that he really could potentially get in this world, and being content because of our mental enslavement and thinking that we are inferior for 400 and some years. And then all of a sudden breaking that out into society. A lot of us did not understand who we are. So when we were, we continuously thought that we were inferior because of the situation that we were in. And then once we got and broke those barriers, now we were trying to be accepted by people who at that point really didn't want us there in the first place. And so it's a great book. Like I said, it's just one of the examples. I really want people to go into it more. It's to me, it's one of those books. I read it earlier. I did when I had my website up last year, I did obviously a blog post about it when I read it, but honestly, I read it again, and I'm going to read it again because there's just, those books that just have so many good points to it that you're going to have to go back and read it again to find out the other points that you might have missed. And you might read it again. I was going to give it away, but I'm probably going to read this book one more time. I suggest people to go get it too. It's a very cheap paperback book. It cost me like $10, but the food that you get is unbelievable, and it lasts forever. But it just shows you that we have not really progressed how we're supposed to because of our mental enslavement and our mental, outlook and how we feel about ourselves. That self-hate is really real. And for people who are listening who may not just be on that accord, self-hate can really sabotage your entire movement. Self-hate can make you feel like you're inferior to things that you're actually superior to. And self-hate can actually can hinder you for the rest of your life. With specific things of how you see each other and how you act or how you are around specific people, It's a great book. Again, I love finishing these type of books. And again, I put it up in my library. I'm going right back to some more old ones that I like, and I'm probably going to maybe purchase some more by the end of the year. But again, if you guys have any questions or any books that you might have me recommend to you, I'm gladly doing that. Of course, if it's Pan-African or even mental health, I will do my best, or even indigenous readings. I'm always on it. I'm definitely going to get back into that. Also, there's a few books that I've read, and I'm probably going to go back and read them again. So, love y'all. I hope you have a great week. I'll talk to y'all soon.